tracks being laid. What you do? The ones that think we as good as we say. We are. Head it up. Get in and go. I'm sure you're trying to tell me something I already know.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. Of course, I'm your host, your YouTube messiah, and often imitator. Never duplicate Superstar Tim Dixon. We're gonna go over Raw this week. What's in Miami, Florida? But before we do, well, one thing gotta address. It is the big hot topic over the course of the weekend, if you will. It was Labor Day weekend. AEW All Out. Now, I'm not going to disparage or poo-poo or, I'm not going to shit on them or be all super positive. I'm not pro one company or another. I will say this. Phenomenal show. Really excited on how it all turned out. My big thing, and this is always the creative in me, which is both a blessing and a curse, because a lot of times I don't get a chance to really enjoy too much. I always think, okay, this is what happened. Now what happens from here? Saw CM Punk return, saw the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, come out, saw Ruby Soho come out, which, man, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw she came out to my absolute favorite song from one of my absolute favorite bands of all time, Rancid, I flipped like a kid. I went nuts like a kid in a candy store, man. Not going to even attempt to lie on that one. It was, yep. As well as the big debut of Adam Cole now being in AEW. I'm excited. We're at the point now where we're at the cusp of wrestling hitting another great boom era. You had the quote-unquote golden era from the old Territorian, the old Pioneer Territorial days. And then you had the 80s golden era. And then you had the 90s golden era with the Monday Night Wars. We're getting to that point again. You got wrestling on multiple cable channels. You got them on USA. You got them on TNT. You're about to have it on TBS sometime by next summer, I think it was. As well as having it on Fox, which is prime time television. We're at the cusp, folks. We're getting there. It's just, honestly, you need to get the fanboys on this side and the fanboys on this side, clock their heads together and tell them to sit down, shut up, and appreciate everything going on, whether it's for your favorite company or not, so that way we can get there. Now that I'm done that, let's switch gears, talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind. And the big highlights from last week's SmackDown, well, the Street Profits beat the Usos in a Proving Grounds match. And, well, WWE calls it a champion, or a challengers contender, champions challenger, something like that. It's a Proving Grounds match. If you beat the champs in a one-on-one match, non-title, then you earn the right to be number one contender at a later point in time. They won. Granted, it was a DQ, but a win is a win is a win, right? So they won. They're going to be number one contenders now. Most likely get the match at Extreme Rules, which makes the most sense. Other big highlights from SmackDown. Cesaro went against Seth, and the big takeaway from this was, before the match, Seth wound up saying that he learned a thing or two from his match with Edge. And you saw it because he was pulling out a lot of Edge's old signature moves. And at one point took a chair out, smashed it across Cesaro, broke part of it, hooked it over Cesaro like for the crossface like he was doing to Roman and the Usos. and then was gearing up to do a one-man concerto. Edge came out of nowhere, stopped him, and then issued an open challenge for this Friday coming up, which is going to be at the Garden, which, holy shit, that's going to be fucking awesome. And then other big highlights in the show. Sami Zayn got a win over Dominic Mysterio for the second week in a row, and you see Dominic just kind of pushing his dad off to the side like, "Ah, man, I lost." Now, I try not to do the armchair quarterbacking or do a whole lot of fantasy booking on this, but honestly, if I was going to do some fantasy booking on this, I'd have Dominic go. Have Dominic start going on a bit of a losing streak for a while, and then eventually get so distraught because his dad over Ray that he shoves Ray off to the side, denounces the Mysterio name, and then fully acknowledges that Eddie Guerrero is truly his poppy. Huh? It could work. I'm just saying if that was me. Now, the last big highlight from the show was Roman Reigns, Finn Balor for the Universal title. Oh my God, this was a damn good match. And probably my favorite part on it was the fact that it was only like about 15-20 minutes. And I've always been adamant on this part. If you don't always need to do like 40 to 60 minute Broadway matches to go and tell a good story. You could tell I've always been a firm believer, if you're good enough in the ring, you could tell just as good of a story in 15 to 20 minutes than you could in 40 to 60 minutes. But that's me personally. It was a hell of a match. I fucking loved it. Roman got the win, and the big takeaway post-match was, as Roman won, saw the lights flicker and it went red for a minute. So everyone's been speculating, oh, we getting the demon back. It would make sense, but I don't know, the way Finn's been going since his return to NXT and now, could I see him go back that way? Yes, but I don't know, you gotta really convince me on that, man. You gotta really sell me on it. Like, you'd have to have Finn go, like, on a deep losing streak to the point where people are getting their torches and pitchforks and getting ready to riot over the fact that Balor's on such a losing streak, to have him say, you know what, I fucking snapped, and now I'm getting out in my dark side and I'm bringing the demon back. That's just me. So now that we're done that, let's get into this week's show. Raw, it starts out with all the teams for the tag team Turmoil, which is pretty much a tag team gauntlet match, hyping up their shit match tonight. And then we see Riddle and Randy Orton out in the ring, hyping it up as well, talking about last week as well on how they beat Bobby and MVP, and on how Bobby is a greedy little bastard. And then Randy winds up calling out Bobby, issues a challenge for a title shot at Extreme Rules. It's accepted. And then Bobby says, you know what? Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. I am a greedy little bastard. So you know what? I'm going to go to the back. I'm going to talk to Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. I'm going to go and get me an MVP put in this Turmoil match, so that way I'm coming for those titles. I'm cool with that. Hell, I still think one of the coolest moments in Bobby Lashley's run in TNA was when he was fucking world champion, X Division champion, and King of the Mountain champion, which the King of the Mountain thing, let's not talk about that. But the fact that he was holding all the titles at that one point in time, like, that is one bad motherfucker right there. And that's all he thought was, damn, that really is one badass motherfucker. Whew. So anyways, now we start out the Turmoil match. It's New Day versus the Viking Raiders to start it out. Kofi was the punching bag on it. Raiders, they were leading the pace. But New Day got the win when Woods at one point wound up doing an inside cradle on Eric. Fighting the urge not to get mad because the first pinfall was from a roll-up. But we'll move forward. Next up, it was Jinder with Veer and Shanky ringside, which I'm pretty sure at this point, Shanky, he's just like the little alternate, you know, like the, oh, hey, he's here too, you know, like, what the fuck? Anyways, as far as this went, Woods, he was getting knocked around. He was the punching bag on this one as what? He was the punching bag on this one. And then they got the New Day got the win. It was relatively short-lived though. They did a lot. Heels were leading for the majority of it until Kofi came in, started cleaning up a little. Woods got tagged back in, started working a little. Then Kofi tagged in again. Then they did the Midnight Hour to Jinder. Next up, Lucha House Party. And then Woods took the lion's share of the beating in this for the entire New Day run. I will say that now. I'm not going to say when they won or lost, but I will say from this point forward, all I just kept thinking was, my God, he is taking the lion's share of the beatings here. I mean, normally you see like Kofi being the punching bag, but my God, ugh, whoa. Mad ups to Xavier Woods for being on the ass end of an ass whooping for that long, you know? And it was just, I dug the shit out of it. I thought that was pretty damn impressive. How New Day wound up getting the win. It was Lance Dorado was being held down. Kofi was holding Dorado's feet down while Woods did a pin. I can't remember what I think it was, I'm not going to lie, this, my badass memory being shitty on me. It was, I think, Woods or Dorado was going for a move. Woods countered it, and then Kofi held the feet. That I remember Kofi held the feet and Woods did the pin, but that's about it. Either way, next up we got Mace and T-Bar coming in, and they were doing the power game, beating the shit out of Kofi and Woods, non-stop start to finish. And then we got Woods doing a roll-up on fucking T-Bar again. Enough with the fucking roll-ups! God! You really want to see me get fucking hot? And I mean fucking white nuclear hot. Give me a beautiful fucking stellar match like this has been from start to finish, going all the fucking way. And then have the end be a fucking roll up, or have somebody be put on the ass end of an ass kicking for 99.999% of the match, and then have the guy who's been dominating and decimating this person get distracted for like 15 to 20 seconds just to have that person who barely has enough strength to lift their arm miraculously have enough strength to scoop somebody up and throw their body weight on top and be able to forcibly hold them down for a 3 count. That's on how you get me fucking hot. I fucking hate roll-up finishes when they're done like that. It's like fucking lazy booking. You want to do a roll-up finish, I'll explain a roll-up. I did see a roll-up finish I was not mad at later in the show, and I'll get into that. Anyways, now that we're done that, Woods got the win doing the roll-up on T-Bar, and then Mansoor and Ali came down. They see that Mansoor sees that Mace and T-Bar are still beating the crap out of Woods and Kofi. He decides to be the super nice good guy while Ali's trying to yell at him, "No, kid, don't!" And Mansoor goes in to intervene and then gets the shit kicked out of him. So does Ali, and then they cut the commercial. We come back from commercial break, hearing that Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville said, we're not going to let this Turmoil match end on a note like this, so what we're going to do, we're going to let these guys have a few minutes to rest up, and then they are going to come back out to finish this up later on tonight. So we'll get into the rest of the Turmoil match. I kind of dig on how they did that. That's pretty ingenious on that part. It's a way to hit pause so that way you can let the rest of the show play out. As opposed to having all of this happen at once and then, oh hey, then we got it. But I will give credit where credit's due. This tag team turmoil match, the tag team turmoil, man, that took up the first fucking hour of the show, and that went fucking stellar. Next up, we got Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus, which, man, dude, I went over on during the quote-unquote Thunderdome era about these two guys going at it. It was like seeing a bar. It was basically like the bar fight scene from the old John Wayne movie, The Quiet Man. If you've never seen that movie, I grew up watching that movie. Highly recommend you watch it sometime. It's a good movie. But and all I can think is when them two go at it, I'm like, damn, that is like a bar fight scene in that movie. Which is also coincidentally pretty much like any time me and my brother were ever in a bar fight. Man, I'm really glad I don't drink no more. I can't afford to do them kind of bar fights. I'm too old for this shit. Anyways, this was a damn good match. A lot of good solid fighting, good back and forth. It was a back and forth banger, man. I fucking dug the shit out of this. I fucking loved it. Match came to an end. At one point, Drew ripped off the face mask of Sheamus. Sheamus with the whole playing beautiful to it. Not in a chicken shit heel of, oh my god, no! But more so just in a shock of, oh my god, it's off, oh my god, ah! No different than if like somebody wound up yanking off. And I'm not saying, I don't even remember if it ever actually happened, but if like somebody yanked off Cowboy Bob Armstrong's cast, like if he wound up actually freaking out, you know? But either way, the mask got yanked off, Drew went to go for the Claymore, and then Sheamus ducked it and then did a roll-up. Now, this was what I was talking about before. These two went back and forth with each other, so it made fucking sense. This was a roll-up that made fucking sense. I think, did anyone feel a small slight chill in the air? Did anyone see four guys on horses riding in the air? Because we just saw a roll-up finish I'm fucking okay with. I'm pretty sure the end times are going to be coming now. Tim Vicious was okay with a roll-up finish. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the end times are coming now. So, next up we got women's tag team action going for the championship contenders thing. Proving ground match again. This time it was Nikki A.S.H with Rhea Ripley going against Natayla and Tamina. And beforehand, I gotta address the one big thing. I didn't mention it at the beginning. It's a little uncomfortable to mention, to say the least. But if you did not grow up during Daphne, she made her presence known in WCW. You probably recognized her, knew her from TNA, as well as her, work in various independents, but she passed away recently via suicide, and yeah. It's a very sensitive topic. I weighed the pros and cons on if I wanted to address it or not, but yeah. Nikki, she had a tribute on her for Daphne, which I really fucking dug the shit out of, and I thought that was really top-notch and class act on her. But it's going to be hard to move into the match now after talking about that, but we're going to try our damnedest because that's what we always do on here. This match, this match kind of felt a little ho-hum especially given everything we saw from the tag team gauntlet to the Drew and Sheamus. This kind of felt, I don't want to say this was like a let me up or like a piss break, but this one kind of felt really flat compared to what we saw up until this point. I mean, it was an okay match, but it just didn't have that same wow that we saw up to it. You know, probably the most confusing part was seeing on how Rhea kept finding a way to use Nikki as a literal weapon, like, you know, I'm gonna just use this motherfucker to beat another motherfucker. Which, yep, okay. So, to sum it up, kind of match. Nikki and Rhea got the win when Rhea did a blind tag. Natayla was struggling to put the sharpshooter on, which I'm pretty sure Bret will find something to which I'm pretty sure Bret Hart will complain about that to somebody about on. And then Rhea stepped in, did the riptide, 1, 2, 3, that was it. Next up, we got Karrion Kross going against Johnny Nitro, Morrison, Mundo, Impact, insert last name here, Esquire the 23rd. All because during the Moist TV segment, Kross was just staring down Johnny, which my first thought was, well, at least he's not dressed like Lord Humongous this time. He was in an all-black suit, talking about on how he's going to destroy Johnny, and then John was like, well, you know, you could have come on here to talk about on how you wanted to go for the world title, U.S. title, tag titles, anything like that, but, you know, said you want to come to me. I'll get to those in due time. Ooh. I dug that when he said that, like, oh, he's making it known. He's low-key hyping that. Okay, man. I'm all for that. And then he came out again dressed like Lord Humongous. Listen, I'm not going to go and throw shit at whoever's bright idea it was for that, whether it was actually Kross's idea, or if it was WWE Creative, or if it was this guy or that guy or whatever. But my God, I fucking hate this. Ugh. Just please, for the love of God, stop with that. Stop having him coming out looking like Lord Humongous from Mad Max. Anyways, as far as the match went, Kross was all business, fucking obliterated Johnny, hit him with the Kross jacket, passed him out. I definitely see Kross challenge him for a title at some point. Whether it's for the US or the world, I don't know, but I definitely see him being in a title contention at some point. That's a cold hard fact. Now with that said, next matchup we got women's action again. Charlotte versus Nia Jax, and Jesus, Allah, Buddha, Zeus, Odin, Vishnu, whoever was up there listening, thank you for at least making this better than it was last week, because, well, yeah, after last week was a fucking train wreck of a disaster. There's no nice way to put it. The highlights from last week's match was seeing both wrestlers' entrances, and then the 1, 2, 3 count. That was it. That's the highlights. Yeah. As far as this was, probably the biggest thing that had me interested and was scratching my head was Shayna Baszler kept jumping up to distract, was running distraction, but not for Nia, but against Nia. And I'm just looking like, is she trying to interject herself for Charlotte, or are we getting a Nia versus Shayna feud again? Huh. Alright, color me impressed. You piqued my interest. Now can you hold it? Yeah, it was good back and forth, but it was good back and forth, but it was just after last week, last week's match left such a bad taste in my mouth that, you know, I couldn't help but think, yeah, I understand WWE's prone to doing rematches on a regular basis, but I think they should have sat on this one for a minute, for at least a week before doing another rematch. That way, could wash the taste of that match out. But how the match came to an end, Nia was in the lead. Nia was leading at that point, and Shayna climbed up, distracted Nia. Charlotte, who was sitting on the ropes, sitting on the top ropes, woozy, getting her head together, came out of nowhere, boom, popped a natural selection onto Nia. 1, 2, 3, that was it. So yeah. Next up now we got our piss break. This was the piss break match. Reggie went against Akira Tozawa, which honestly, I am not a fan of all this shit that they're doing with Reggie, because honestly, he's just constantly flip-flop, twist and spin around, flip-floppity, spot monkey shit. And I'm not complaining about the flip-flop. I'm big on how I want to phrase this. I'm not complaining about the fact that he does all the flip-flop stuff. You know? I mean, Christ, I love Rey Mysterio. I like seeing that. I like seeing that stuff. But you can only see... But if that's all you're known for... But if that's all you're going to do, you know... I want to see some other shit that you can do. I want you to show me you got more in your repertoire, instead of just being able to do 300 corkscrews into a clothesline. No, I want to see you show me stuff. I want you to show me if you can fucking chain wrestle. I want to see if you could show me if you could do a ground game. I want to see on how you can handle yourself in a brawling kind of match. Just fuck, I hate the... Ugh. Yeah, Reggie got the win. Probably the big takeaway everyone was all up in arms on was, at one point, Jeff Hardy was in the 24/7 crowd chasing for it, which... You know, I'm not gonna... I'm always a firm believer in this. If a wrestler is, honest to goodness, not happy with where they're at, and this is not just with wrestling, this is with any job in general. If you're not happy at your job and you're just sitting there to collect a paycheck, dude, just fucking leave. Just fucking leave. Put feelers out there. Put some feelers out there if you're able to. If not, then just fucking go and make it on your own. Find a way to make it on your fucking own. And in this case with WWE, when people want to make the argument, well, they're under contract, they can't, they have to. Dude, CM Punk, he was under contract for 2 fucking years. He walked out and left. Fucking Pac. Adrian Neville, same thing. Hell, I fucking hate the fucking walking in steroid-induced piece of shit Ryroid did the same fucking thing. You know? If you're not, honest to goodness, not happy in your job, fucking leave. You're gonna have good days in work and you're gonna have bad days in work. Unfortunately. But if all you're ever going to do is just think, oh man, I fucking hate this. They're treating me like shit here. I'm not being used right. This, that, and the other. But hey, I'm getting a paycheck. Then dude, no. No, you're a miserable fucking piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. You're not helping any. You're not helping this. You're not helping the build. You're not helping the job any. Just fucking go. Anyways, now we come to the main event of the night. It was the rest of the tag team turmoil match with New Day going against Ali and Mansoor. Faces, they were leading. It was good action. You know, match came to an end when Kofi wound up hitting a Trouble in Paradise and then a splash onto Ali. 1, 2, 3. That was it. And then we saw AJ and Omos come out. And again, like I said before, Woods bared the lion's share of this match. He was in there and got fucking murdered. Not even by Omos, but by Uncle Alan. Working his back, hurting it, making him sore, making him hurt in all kinds of ways. Bending and stretching that boy. He was hurting him good. And then Kofi finally gets the hot tag in. Omos gets tagged in. Kofi springboards, goes for a springboard axe handle. Omos just, whoom, no, wham, and destroys him. Next thing you know, at one point Styles comes back in, and then big brouhaha brawl goes on, and then yeah, Styles gets the win by doing the Styles Clash onto Kofi, 1, 2, 3, and now we come to Lashley and MVP versus AJ and Omos. And I will say this right now. Lashley versus Omos is a big hoss fight. And holy shit, this was fucking cool to see. It was. And now it's time for a death battle! And you saw Lashley and Omos doing a test of strength and like, oh fuck, damn. You know, I'm now more than ever, I really want to see a one-on-one between Lashley and Omos. I'm hoping we see that at some point in the next few weeks. Hell, I'll even be fucking cool if we see that in fucking October when they do the Saudi show again. And yeah. This was a decent match. MVP, he didn't get much action in, which, albeit understandable because his knee is legit hurt. The cane's not a work, it's a shoot cane. He's really hurt. The knee's really kind of bummed. But either way, it was a decent match. I fucking liked it. Like I said, I dug on how they started it with the tag team and hit pause and then ended the show on the tag team. Especially given on how WWE's always been notoriously known for not really giving two shits about tag team wrestling. So with that said though, match came to an end when Bobby Lashley wound up doing a spear on AJ Styles, got the 1, 2, 3, that was it! And then afterwards, you see when Lashley's standing victorious, yeah! Omos towering right behind him, he turns around, Omos with that two-handed choke slam in his, drops Lashley down like he's nothing, and then climbs out the ring, checks to make sure AJ's okay, and then they walk off, and then you see Lashley fighting, getting himself back on his feet, and then Randy, boom, RKO out of nowhere. So next week on Raw, we're going to see Lashley and MVP versus Randy Orton and Riddle. So, excuse me. That is it for this week's show, folks. So please, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the other episodes when you can. Also, look for me on the Twitter at Tim Vicious. Also on that Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash. If you're going to look for my Facebook gimmick, Tim Ash, let me know you found me on there on here in the comments or on my Twitter at Tim Vic Son Vega. Keep John going. Thank you to my executive producer, Ollie Ray Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. It's out there on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. All that good shit details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor of show, LFC Lingerie Fighting Championship. There are a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, don't forget to follow these cool-ass cats already on the Twitter. Kenny Killer, DSB_IB, Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants and Doves in your face. And folks, like I always tell you, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.